Have you ever watched an entire room judge someone without knowing a single thing about them? One glance, one whisper, one wrong assumption. In just a few seconds, a person can be labeled, rejected, and treated like they don't belong. But sometimes, the truth arrives in the most unexpected way. And on that day, inside a small biker diner, everyone who mocked a young woman because of her tattoo learned a lesson they would never forget. What happened next proved that kindness can reveal stories no judgment ever could. Before we begin, if you enjoy heartwarming stories that remind us why kindness still matters, please subscribe to BeKindAlways, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that inspire people to choose kindness every single day. Emily Parker stood outside the old roadside diner, taking a deep breath before opening the door. It was her first week in a new town in Montana, and everything still felt unfamiliar. She had accepted a teaching job at the local elementary school, hoping this small community would offer the fresh start she desperately needed. As she stepped inside, conversations slowed. A few people looked up from their coffee cups. Others glanced at the tattoo that stretched along her left forearm before quickly looking away. Emily noticed the stares. She had grown used to them. The tattoo was impossible to miss. Black and gray wings surrounded a small badge with faded numbers beneath it. To strangers, it looked intimidating. Some even assumed it was connected to motorcycle clubs or gangs. They were always wrong. Emily quietly found a booth near the window and ordered breakfast. A group of customers sitting nearby whispered loudly enough for her to hear. "I wouldn't trust someone with a tattoo like that. Looks like trouble just walked in. I hope she isn't teaching our kids." Emily lowered her eyes and pretended not to listen. Years of hearing similar comments had taught her not to respond. Still, every word hurt. Kindness, she had learned, was often missing from first impressions. As she waited for her food, the front door swung open again. A tall, heavily tattooed man wearing a leather vest entered the diner. The room became silent. His gray beard, broad shoulders, and motorcycle club patches immediately caught everyone's attention. People recognized him. His name was Jack. Many knew he belonged to the local Hells Angels chapter. Although rumors surrounded him, those who truly knew Jack also knew something else. Whenever a family lost their home in a fire, Jack organized donations. When veterans needed help, he was the first to raise money. Every Christmas, his club delivered toys to children across the county. He wasn't the monster strangers imagined. Jack scanned the room before his eyes landed on Emily. To everyone's surprise, his serious expression softened. He walked directly toward her. The whispers grew louder. "Oh, they know each other. This can't be good." Emily stood slowly, looking uncertain. Then Jack smiled. A real smile. Without saying a word, he gently hugged her. "I've been looking for you," he said. Emily smiled through tears. "It's good to see you again." The entire diner watched in disbelief. The waitress accidentally dropped a spoon. One man nearly spilled his coffee. Nobody understood what they were seeing. Jack pulled out a chair and sat across from Emily. For a moment, they simply smiled at each other. Finally, the curious waitress approached. "I'm sorry," she said carefully. "Are you two family?" Jack nodded proudly. "In the most important way." Everyone leaned in. Years earlier, Jack explained, he had been a volunteer escort during a memorial ride honoring police officers, firefighters, and first responders who lost their lives in the line of duty. Emily's father had been one of those officers. He had given his life protecting complete strangers during a dangerous rescue. Emily had only been 12 years old. After the funeral, Jack noticed the young girl sitting alone while hundreds of people slowly returned to their normal lives. She looked completely lost. So he sat beside her. He didn't offer empty promises. He simply listened. Over time, Jack and several members of his motorcycle club stayed in touch with Emily and her mother. They attended birthdays, helped repair their home, paid for school supplies when money became tight. When Emily graduated from high school, They were sitting proudly in the front row. When she earned her teaching degree, they celebrated together. "They've been my family," Emily said quietly. The diner remained silent. Jack looked at Emily's tattoo. "Go ahead," he said gently. Emily rolled up her sleeve. The room finally saw the full design. The wings surrounded her father's police badge number. Below it were the words, "Forever my hero." Emily smiled softly. "I got this tattoo on the day I became a teacher. My dad believed kindness was the strongest kind of courage. I wanted to carry his memory with me everywhere I go." A woman sitting nearby wiped away tears. One of the men who had criticized Emily looked ashamed. I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I judged you before I knew anything about you." Emily smiled kindly. "It's okay." "No," Jack replied. "It's not okay. But today you can choose to be better." Nobody argued. For several moments, the entire diner sat in thoughtful silence. Then something beautiful happened. The waitress refused to charge Emily for breakfast. Another customer introduced himself and welcomed her to town. A retired teacher offered classroom supplies. The man who had made the harshest comment apologized again, this time shaking Emily's hand. By the time Emily left the diner, she wasn't walking out alone. She was surrounded by neighbors. News of the moment spread through the town. Not because of the tattoo. Not because of Jack. But because people realized how quickly they had judged someone whose heart was filled with compassion. Over the following months, Emily became one of the community's favorite teachers. Her classroom was known for kindness challenges, handwritten thank you notes, and lessons that reminded children never to judge others by appearance. Jack occasionally visited the school during reading days. At first, some parents felt nervous seeing a biker reading stories to first graders. Those fears disappeared within minutes. Children loved him. His deep voice brought every story to life. Before leaving each visit, Jack always repeated the same sentence. "Strong people protect others. The strongest people choose kindness." Years later, many students would remember those words far more than any lesson from a textbook. Emily often looked at her tattoo and smiled. It no longer reminded her only of loss. It reminded her that love can come from unexpected places. Family is not always connected by blood. Sometimes it is built through loyalty, compassion, and the simple decision to stand beside someone when the world walks away. The people in that diner never forgot the lesson they learned that morning. Appearances can fool us. Rumors can mislead us. But kindness has a remarkable way of uncovering the truth. The next time you meet someone who looks different, dresses differently, or carries a story you don't understand, remember Emily. Remember Jack. Remember that every person you see is fighting battles you know nothing about. A single act of kindness can change someone's entire life, while a single moment of judgment can leave wounds that last for years. So choose kindness first. Offer a smile before an opinion. Listen before you assume. And treat every stranger with the respect you hope someone would show the people you love. Because behind every face is a story waiting to be understood, and behind every act of kindness is the power to change the world, one heart at a time.